My name's Leisa, and my two businesses that I run, one is called Retrohex, where I offer web design and hosting for WordPress websites. And my second business, which is Eat Digital, I run that with two other ladies who are amazing at digital marketing, and we teach a digital marketing online training group, and that's run through a Facebook group. So because of that, I run a lot of online workshops, and my go-to platform that I use is Zoom, and it's an amazing platform. And so hopefully after tonight, you'll have a better understanding of what Zoom is, how Zoom could work for your business, and how to utilize this amazing tool. So let's get started. And as you guys are coming in, make sure you tell me what city you're signing in from and what industry you're in. Oh, we've got lots of fitness, yoga. Awesome. Welcome, guys. So what are we going to be looking at tonight? So we're going to be looking at what Zoom is and how it can be useful for your business, the many features of Zoom, and also the pricing options and what's included in that pricing. We're going to be looking at how to sign up for a Zoom account and how to set up your first meeting. Then we're going to be looking at equipment you may need depending on your situation and what you already have. And Paul from Entire Computer Services is here. Give us a wave, Paul, and he'll be joining us for this session to talk about equipment. He's really good at hardware, where I'm very good at software, so it's good to have you along. You may all have good intentions for setting up meetings, workshops, or events via Zoom, but if no one knows about it, no one's going to show up. So we're going to be looking at how to promote your events or your consults or your services. And then at the end, we'll have time for questions and discussion. I want it to be as interactive as possible, so please ask questions throughout the night. You can enter them in the chat box. If you can't see your chat box, you can just hover on your toolbar and there'll be a chat area there. There's also a cool interactive section on Zoom now where you can give me thumbs up. You can, yeah, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down in there as well. So that's a bit fun. You can even ask for a coffee break. So yeah, go grab a coffee if you want anytime, or a toilet break. I will be recording this as well. So if you miss out on anything, you'll be able to access it later, and I'll share that with you. So before we dive in, I really want to, and also throughout these sessions, after each section, I will open it up for questions. So after we do each section, I'll open up for questions so it can be fresh on our mind then. So before we dive in, I really wanted to open up the conversation first to see how this coronavirus social isolation has been affecting you guys, how it's been affecting your business, or how you see it will start to affect your business. So if anyone really wants to share, it'd be great. All you need to do is put your hand up, and you can do that by clicking the participant toolbar and then raise your hand. And I can unmute you and you can tell me how it's been affecting your business. So Paul, you want to go first?
So it hasn't affected me income-wise a lot yet. My name's Paul. I'm from Entire Computer Services. We specialise in technology support for individuals, homes, and small businesses, micro businesses. I usually leverage the benefit of being able to see people face to face in the home, and especially there's micro businesses and older people are really quite, well, older people are vulnerable at the moment, and seeing them at home is not an option. So I'm having to morph my business more. I always could do it, but I'm really pushing more so to do the remote support by TeamViewer and other remote support systems, as well as using video conferencing systems like this to chat with them about any issues they may have. So as we speak, I'm changing my my approach to business at the moment.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we all are having to do that, absolutely. So Ellie, I might unmute you and you can share how it's been affecting you and your business.
Yep, so I work in dog training, and like at least 99% of that is through like just one-on-one personal stuff with people, doing classes and consults. So now, because of the coronavirus, we can't really do that anymore, and we can't really have our classes, especially indoor, anymore. So we're doing a lot of online just videos, and we're starting up some video courses to do. And we're also looking at doing some Zoom meetings for our classes as well. So it's a bit of an adjustment because we're not there to help the clients one-on-one. But I think it'll be all right, and it's good because it means we can expand our business to having some online resources as well as just personal, and so it should be good.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Ellie. Yeah, it's interesting now that we're sort of being forced to go online. It actually, and if we can, obviously there's some businesses that will really struggle to make that move online and just can't because they're so in-person businesses. But the businesses that can really think outside the box and get online more, it really can open up your audience to a larger scale because you're not just restricted to your local area. Thanks for sharing that, Ellie. Now, Tanya, you had your hand up, so I'll unmute you if you want to share.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, look, I have a Yumba yoga business. A lot of my business is the elderly. I do a lot of chair yoga for the elderly. So unfortunately, a lot of my clients have no idea how to do Zoom or get online digitally. And a lot of them don't even have email addresses. So it's going to affect them, emotionally, not being able to get out and move their bodies. Also, I do a lot of other classes with a lot of other people. I have actually been doing some Zoom classes with friends this week. But I'm just very interested to know a few things on how to get their contacts online and how to get paid. Is it going to be something that's going to be an honorary system that you've got to trust people, or what, because I've just any suggestions on, if you've got some ideas with that as far as that goes.
Yeah, awesome. We're definitely going to be looking at that a bit later in the
promoting. But on the positive side, I've got a lot of people who now know that I'm going to be Zooming that aren't in Toowoomba, who weren't able to come to my classes, from Brisbane and Gold Coast and stuff, who just can't wait to get online with me. So
yeah, that's great. I mean, exactly, it's opening up other doors.
It is.
Thanks for sharing that, Tanya. Now, I see Di waving your hand in the screen, so I'm going to unmute you, Di, if you want to talk.
Hey guys, thank you for having me tonight. One of my biggest things, we're at Awassi Cheesery down in Grantham, and we have a 2-year recovery from the drought as part of our business plan, and which was fine until we hit what we're going through now. But I wanted to get on board because we wanted to organise virtual tours of the farm. So for us, that's going to be something that we wanted to promote. So we lost all our buses for this year. So we lost 2 buses a week that were totaling 82 people at $40 a head plus our sales, and then plus everything else. So we thought, well, we still need to make it work. We're still here. The farm's still operating. We're still making cheese. The sheep are still being milked. So we wanted to get online and try and organise something as a virtual tour of our farm. And then we wanted to try and organise our customers to buy a ticket as a ticketed event from Brisbane to Toowoomba as a cheese tasting option, and then we'd go online and do cheese tasting for a maximum of 30 people perhaps, and have the opportunity to do something online. So that's what we wanted to do. So we've been affected greatly because we're coming out of a drought, which was a long recovery. Yeah. Excuse me. Anyway, and then we just thought, hey, let's take the opportunity to try and get through the coronavirus by getting people to come and do a virtual tour with us on the farm, which could work.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of museums and zoos all going online as well. So it's definitely, people are going to be looking for more interaction online because we're all stuck at home. So it is really a great opportunity for you guys to be doing that. It is a tricky one though for you, Di, because it is a physical food. So would they be getting sent the tasting? Like, how would you do it?
Yes. Yeah. So being a ticketed event, so we would still keep it as a ticketed event, and we would take the ticket through our Square program, and then we do deliver it. We would deliver the 24 hours before the event, and we only do Brisbane to Toowoomba. So our tickets would probably be maybe our cheese tasting is normally, $15 to $25 per head, depending on who was here and the group size. So we're looking at doing a ticketed event at $60 per pack, which does 2. And then we would deliver that to our customers 24 hours before we would go live as a cheese tasting program with people, and keeping it minimum to 30 so that then I have the interaction between people as opposed to having it so broad spectrum.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I mean, I'm loving hearing people really think outside the box. So I think that was everyone who had their hand up. So thanks for sharing that, guys, and there'll be more opportunities to share a bit later. So let's just keep moving on. So what is Zoom? So at its core, Zoom is a video conferencing tool, and the best way to explain it, I thought I would show you this video via Zoom. Let me just stop share for a second. Go back to share. And let me get this video going. And hopefully you guys can hear it.
Zoom is revolutionizing the way teams collaborate. Whether you're connecting multiple conference rooms or adding remote attendees, meeting face-to-face is as simple as a single touch. With the highest video and audio quality, joining a conference remotely is as natural as being there. Feature-rich and yet easy to use, the Zoom mobile and desktop apps bring the whole experience together with built-in group chat. Transform your video conferencing experience with Zoom.
Thanks, Zoom. So Zoom was founded in 2011, and it helps businesses and organizations bring their team together in an environment which is now, we're in isolation. So with this increasing need, Zoom is booming at the moment. And I'm sure the founder is super happy that he created it. So how can Zoom be useful for your business? So there are many applications for Zoom, and now with our forced isolation, I'm sure we can think of many more uses for it. So you can see in this graphics here provided by Zoom that there are many uses, from large meetings, sales, demonstrations, interviewing staff, training and learning sessions, webinars, and a whole lot more. When we think of video conferencing, we usually envisage people sitting at a desk talking to each other, just like what we're doing now. However, we really need to push our minds beyond this and think how you could use it for your business. Just like Di was talking about with her cheese making tours, we really can utilize it in many, many more ways. So I want you guys to think now about your business, and I want you to think how you could possibly use it, use Zoom for your business. And I'm going to use a tool that's integrated with Zoom called the whiteboard, and we're going to just write down some of those ideas here. So I want you guys to write in the chat board some ideas that you think Zoom could be useful for. So you can either yell out, unmute yourself and yell out, or you can write them in the chat board there. Yep, group classes. That's a really good one. Tuition, yes, absolutely. Collaboration, yep. Consultation is amazing. I think Zoom was ultimately created for those meetings, and consultation, which is predominantly what I use it for my one-on-one training, it's amazing for that. Product demo, I really like that one. Now that we can't do product demo in person, and just like that cheese tasting, we can do it definitely via Zoom. Committee meetings, yes. So part of being a non-for-profit organization, you have to have meetings, every month or something. So now Zoom, in this isolation, we can at least still be doing meetings via Zoom. Coaching programs, yep, definitely a really great tool for coaching programs. Demonstrations, absolutely. So there's many, many things. Oh, I love that. Friend and family gatherings, absolutely. So my dad's joined us today. Hey Dad, wherever you are in the list of participants. But yeah, that's something we'll be doing with our family, I think, over the next coming weeks, is doing some family gatherings. We could even do like a camping trip we could set up online, and we can all go camping, set up our tents. That'll be fun. So that's just a few things that you can absolutely do on Zoom. And yeah, just really keep pushing your mind as to what else you could be using Zoom for. And I'll be showing you how to get that white tool up, that whiteboard tool up in a second. I'm just going to do a new share so you can still see my screen. Let me go share that screen. Alrighty. So other things that people have been talking to me about, and just to push your minds out of the box, people like hairdressers who are going to be eventually affected, although at the moment they are able to do hairdressing, even though that's a controversial topic at the moment. But hairdressers may be put out of business and may have to be doing some training sessions via Zoom. And people are wondering, well, how can I possibly do hair via Zoom? But to think about people stuck at home, we're going to have to learn how to do our own hair. So they could be running training sessions online, how we actually cut our own hair, or teaching our husbands how to cut our hair, which would be fun. So lots of different ways we can use Zoom. So let's look at some features of Zoom. So Zoom has some fantastic features and makes it super easy to engage and get creative. So there is the hosting controls. So hosting controls means you can manage and control the meeting. So at the moment, I'm using my hosting controls to share the screen, to put the PowerPoint up, to share videos with you, to interact with the chat board, to mute you guys. I can utilize the whiteboard to do brainstorming, etc. And I'm going to show you a video just how the hosting controls work. The other thing is the ability to share your screen. So at the moment, I'm sharing my PowerPoint, and that's via sharing screen. This is really, really valuable if you're doing training sessions or you're running webinars. The next thing is the whiteboard, which you just saw me use before, and I'll be showing you a video on how you actually get that up. And annotation, so you can actually start drawing on your screen, just like I am now. So I can be directing people, I can be pointing an arrow to things. Yeah, exactly. So people can start interacting with the annotation tool, and I'll be showing you a video on how to get that up as well. Some other really cool features are the breakout rooms. So breakout rooms is really good if you have a large group. So say now we have 37 people listening. Hello everyone, 37 people. And I could actually break you out into different rooms, and I'm going to be showing you a video on how to do that as well. Then there's the cool chat area, which means that you can all talk to each other, or you can talk to people privately, and you'll see the video on that as well. The amazing ability to record, and let me just check to make sure that I am still recording. Yes, I am. So the ability to record is really valuable, because if people can't make tonight, so I had 100 people sign up, only 40 people have rocked up. So that's 60 people who have potentially been unable to join in for whatever reasons, but I can follow up with an email and say, here's the recording, so that they can still get the value from that. And then there's some fun features like adding a virtual background and making yourself look more beautiful if that's possible, which I'll show you a video on. So I'm just going to show you this video on hosting controls just to give you a better idea on what they are.
Hi everyone, this is Farah from Through. Basic controls, you'll see muting and unmuting capability on the lower left-hand corner. If I were to click the mute button and try to speak, we will get a pop-up to alert you that you are muted, and this is what it'll look like. We can also use the up arrow here to select a different headset. So if you join a meeting and you're not hearing anything, you might want to double check and make sure that your AirPods or your headset is connected and configured in here. If it's not, you can click audio settings to get to an audio dashboard to help configure and test your equipment. You'll see the start and stop video option. So if you're a little nervous to start meeting over Zoom with your video on, you can simply click the video off button to show a profile picture if you've created one. Otherwise, I always recommend having video on so you can make eye contact with your audience. Communication is 70% body language. So being able to see all of your coworkers, counterparts, or people that you're working externally allows you to anticipate when someone might need to pause you to ask a question. You'll also be able to see if people are following along with what you're teaching them or speaking about. Same thing here, up arrow will allow you to select any camera equipment. Of course, the FaceTime video camera is built into my MacBook, so you can use that, or if you have an external camera, you can plug that in and Zoom will recognize it. Moving on, we have the ability for you to invite participants on the fly. Right now, there's nobody actually in this meeting with me, but if I wanted to invite one of my teammates, I could click this button and it would pop open a list of anyone that I am already connected to via Zoom. And it's as easy as selecting multiple participants. You'll see in this list here, it's going to show me the last 15 to 20 people I worked with before it goes into an alphabetical list. I can click multiple people and click the invite button in one shot, or I can copy the URL, which is the link to the meeting, and paste that into a group chat that we have going. You'll see across the top as well, you'll always have an option to email. If you're on our free version of Zoom, you probably won't see room systems, Zoom rooms, or phone, but you will always be able to send an email invitation out through your default email, whether it's Outlook or Gmail. You'll also see a manage participants at the bottom. So right now, this is letting us know that only one person is connected to our meeting. If I click the button, it allows me to expand to see a list of everybody that has joined. I will always be at the top of this list if I am the host, and then everybody else will show up alphabetically in this list. Folks that unmute themselves will also bubble up to the top in case I need to hover over them and click mute. When you hover over people in the meeting, you'll always have a mute option and a drop down that will give you a few additional action items. So you can mute them, you can give them host permissions, you can remove them from the meeting if they're not supposed to be there. You'll see on the bottom, I've enabled a feature that's called non-verbal feedback. We will have a follow-up video showing you how you can enable some of these advanced settings if you'd like to use them, so stay tuned for that. But this would allow my audience to say yes or no, go faster, go slower, or even raise their hand or give an applause while we're in a meeting, so we can be interactive. I love the coffee cup. If anybody in your audience selects this, that'll show up right next to your name in this participants list. And one other thing I want to point out here is the mute all button. This is sort of our emergency red button. So if you are getting any sort of background noise or audio feedback while you're in a meeting, you can always quickly hit the mute all button to just stop it while you can identify where the background noise is coming from. The more drop down here will give you a couple additional options, things like locking the meeting for security or hearing enter and exit chimes. So I will always know when somebody joins as the host because I can hear a doorbell. We'll move on to our shared content button. This is something that you'll notice everyone in your Zoom meeting has. I love this feature so much because it gives anyone the ability to share content, not just the host. By clicking the green button, I will also get a pop-up asking me what I would like to share before I share it, so you never have to worry about sharing your messy desktop. Clicking this button, you'll see the pop-up on my screen here. I can select a specific desktop. For example, you can see my cluttered desktop over here. I will not share with you, but I can choose a clean desktop. I can choose a specific application, like just a web browser or just a PowerPoint presentation. And of course, if you want to share a video on YouTube, you'll want to select that button and make sure you're clicking share computer sound and optimizing the video clip for your audience before you hit the blue share button, and then that will go live for everyone on the other end. I'll go ahead and hit the stop share button now to show you 2 or 3 features that can piggyback off of this. Let me go back to my main desktop. Once we are in shared mode, you'll notice an annotation tool. If you're the host, this bar will show up at the top with a pen tool. If you're a participant, you'll see at the top, basically it should say whoever the host is sharing, there should be a little drop down that says more options. If you click more options, that will bring you to your pen tool. If you don't see this for whatever reason on your screen when you are live in a meeting, you may need to hit the escape button because you might be in full screen mode. But with annotation, it'll expand into a toolkit that I can use to use a spotlight tool. I can also use it to draw shapes on my screen, and also I can just freeform anything as well. So I can say hello from Denver and draw that on here as well. So this is something that anyone in your audience, not just the host, can be annotating live while you're sharing content. So if you have questions, you can circle and say, what kind of plant is this? And I'll be able to answer that question for you. The host will also be able to clear the drawing, and the host can also use their more options to basically disable annotation for guests when they're in the meeting. You'll see disable attendee annotation. You can also see who's drawing on your screen, which is a pretty cool feature. Now, if you want to restrict others in the audience from sharing their content and make it host only, you can simply leverage the up arrow, which is right here at the bottom of my screen. You'll see this up arrow lets me go into advanced sharing, and this pop-up will allow me to make it a host only share. So this will restrict users from sharing anything out of turn that might be distracting. I'm going to go ahead and put this back onto all participants while we move to the next feature, which is in meeting chat. So if you're in a meeting and you want to chat with everyone, you can click this chat button here. You'll get a little pop-out window, and I can say hello to the audience. I can post a link to zoom.us or even to our support page. And if I want to, if there were other folks joining in this meeting, where it says everyone would be a drop down where I could simply select one other person to privately chat with. Love this feature a lot. Highly recommend testing it before you go into a live meeting, testing it with your friends or colleagues. And you'll see here that I can also merge this to my meeting window by using the triple ellipses here. And so I can have a dashboard on the right-hand side, letting me control my audience as well as chat with them at the same time. And I think the final feature that we'll review on this recording before we go into our advanced would be the ability for you to record a session. So I've already started recording, so it shows my only options are to pause the recording or stop the recording outright. Now, if I wasn't recording, I'd have a circle that would allow me to initiate the record. I'd like to note out here that only the host of the meeting has permission to record. If you are a free user, you will be able to record directly on your laptop. If you are a licensed user, you will be able to record out to the cloud, which is what I'm doing now. So this recording will come up with a link that I can share with others when it's done. Last but not least, don't forget to end the meeting. When you're done with a meeting, you'll get a pop-up allowing you to leave if you need to head out early, or end the meeting for everybody. We are always going to recommend that you make sure you end the meeting for everyone so you can go start your next meeting. Thank you again for watching this recording. I hope you.
So that's an overview on the host controls and how to share your screen. Now, she didn't really show you how to get the whiteboard up, so I'm just going to show you this video on how to enable the whiteboard. Bring up the whiteboard. All you need to do is hover on your screen, come along the bottom here to the Share tab, click on the Share tab, and you'll bring up the windows of all the things you can share, and then click on the whiteboard and then Share. That will bring up the whiteboard where you can start doing brainstorming by adding text here. You can then clear all those. You can also do drawings. And you can use the eraser to clear those, or you can just clear all drawings. And that's how you bring up the whiteboard. Then to remove that, all you need to do is click the red
Retrohex and stop sharing that screen.
So another thing that she didn't look at, which is really important to learn, especially if you're managing big groups and you're wanting to do brainstorming sessions, is the breakout room. So the breakout room is a great way to put people into different rooms so they can chat individually and engage more with each other. And I just wanted to show you this recording so you can get a better understanding of how that works.
Video breakout rooms allow Zoom users to easily place meeting attendees into sub-meetings for group discussion, activities, projects, and more. To get started, log in at zoom.us and view the Meeting Settings section. Click to edit advanced settings and make sure that Breakout Rooms is checked. The next time you host a Zoom meeting, you will see the Breakout Rooms button at the bottom of the Zoom panel. While you are sharing your screen, the button is under the More menu. Click here to start using breakout rooms. Zoom will show the number of eligible participants. Choose how many rooms to create and let Zoom assign the participants automatically, or choose to manually assign for more control, as we'll demonstrate here. Create breakout rooms to proceed. Your breakout rooms are now available and participants are still in the main meeting. Float your mouse over the breakout room to rename or delete the room. Click to assign participants, check their names, and click Assign again. Do this for each breakout room. Your participants are now assigned. If you want to change an assignment, float your mouse over a participant name where you can move the participant to another room or exchange the participant with someone already assigned to another room. When you're ready, click to open all rooms. This will cause your participants to automatically move into their assigned breakout room. The list will indicate that participants have successfully connected when the gray dot turns green. Meeting participants will be prompted to join breakout rooms where they can speak on audio, show their webcams, share screen, and chat as normal. They can also ask for help to send a prompt to the meeting host. Participants can also choose to leave the breakout room anytime to be returned to the main meeting. Return to the breakout rooms list as the host, and you can choose to join any of the breakout rooms to offer assistance. You can broadcast a message to participants, and a banner will be displayed. This is great for instructions or timing announcements. Again, float your mouse over a participant name to move the participant. When you are ready, close the breakout rooms. Participants will have 60 seconds to finish their discussion and will be returned to the main meeting. Open the Breakout Rooms menu again to quickly reopen the same breakout rooms or to make new assignments. To learn more, visit zoom.us/. So
that's just a quick overview on the breakout rooms and showed you how valuable that can be if you are using bigger or larger audiences and you're wanting to do more engagement in smaller groups, so you can break them out into smaller groups. So obviously they covered the chat area in that video, first video, and the ability to record. The last thing is I want to show you how to utilize the virtual background, and I want you guys to actually have a go now at trying to do that. Now, to access the virtual background, all you need to do is hover on your toolbar and then go to the stop video area or video area and hover on the arrow down, and it will have an area that says choose virtual background. And then you can add a background there. So it's hard for me to show you because I can't show you my control. So I'm just going to show you this quick video I did earlier just to instruct you on how to do that. And then we can have a go at doing it ourselves.
Add a virtual background. All you need to do is hover on this arrow and click choose a virtual background. It will now bring up these virtual backgrounds that you have here. Now, when you click on an image, it will insert that background behind you. If you don't have that ability, you may need to install a plugin, which it will suggest when you click on one of these images. You just need to click install plugin and it will add that plugin. Now, sometimes the wording behind you might be reversed. So to change of the wording behind you, all you need to do is to go to video and then click enable mirror effect or disable mirror effect so that you have the words around the right way. Sometimes the virtual background may be blurry behind you, or it may look, or you might have bits of your body that get chopped off. So really test that out before you utilize the background and just have a bit of fun with it. Another thing you can do in the video setting is you can touch up your appearance to make you look more beautiful and make your skin look a lot less bumpy. So have a play around with those in your Zoom settings.
So I want you guys now to have a go at that. If you can see it, so go into your toolbar, and I want to see what images you guys are putting behind you if you can. So I'm just going to put my workshops by Retrohex behind me, and I'm going to turn it to the right way around. So yeah, sometimes your faces will get chopped off. Claire, it looked like your head was getting chopped off then. Ellie looks like her head's getting a bit chopped off there. So you just have to play around with it and find which one works for you. I generally don't have a background on because it can be a little distracting. But it is cool if you want to have your branding behind you, or you're wanting to show, like you're wanting to be like a news reporter and you want to have your city behind you. That's pretty cool. You can have those features on there. So I'm just going to add my none background back into that and go back out. So there's some of the amazing features in the Zoom tool, and these are all free. And now we're going to look at the pricing structure of Zoom. So the free version has all of those features as mentioned that we just watched, but the free version is limited to 40 minutes for more than 2 participants. So if you're running a one-on-one session, then it's fine and it can go longer than 40 minutes. But for groups of 3 or more people, you will get cut off after 40 minutes. So if you're looking at running a one-on-one session, then the free version is fine. So say you do one-on-one consultation, then the one-on-one version is fine. But if you're looking at running sessions with up to 100 people, and you're wanting to go for longer than 40 minutes, then you would have to upgrade to the $41. Now, the $41, you can have up to 100 participants for up to 24 hours duration. So if you're wanting to run big events with breakout rooms, you know, full day events, this is the one that you would want to be getting. And then if you're wanting to have more participants than the 100, you would have to start looking at paying at the $28 a month, which can have up to 300 participants. Now, there is another option in Zoom called the webinar, which is, we're not looking at that. That's a lot more expensive. But that allows you to have up to 1,000 attendees to manage, but we're not covering that tonight. So is there any questions from anyone regarding the Zoom features or the Zoom pricing? You can put your hand up and I will unmute you. Oh, Kerry, you had a question.
Yeah, but it's okay. I was just playing. Sorry.
Good on you. Hey, Kerry, it's good to see you.
Can you see my chookies in my background?
I can. They're so cool. They're so cool.
There they are.
It's a fun feature. Did you have any questions? Or was it about the virtual background?
It was, but I sorted it. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Tanya, let's hear from you.
Yeah, just looking at the pricing that's come up, it says Pro, great for small teams, $20.99.
Yep.
That's for a month. I see the one you were talking about for $41.
Oh no, sorry, $21. Yep. So that's the Pro one, great for small teams. So that's up to 100 participants. So this is what, so I'm actually using toowoomba.com.au Zoom. Thank you to Nuri and Brendan who run that in Toowoomba. So that's their monthly subscription, what they pay. So it means that I can host these meetings up to 100 people for longer than 40 minutes. Otherwise, we would get cut off at the 40-minute mark. What was that?
So can we access this price or not?
Yes, so you can get that. You can so you can try it out for the free one, but then you can upgrade to the $21 a month if you have more people in your meeting.
And is that just through Zoom or through?
Yes, through Zoom. And I'll show you how I'm gonna show you how to sign up to Zoom soon. Any other questions regarding features or pricing?
I've got a question. If I could just ask about the recording. When the video, the girl was talking about the recording can go to the cloud if you buy a package, but on the basics, I didn't understand what she meant by that.
Yep, so on the basics, meaning you can actually record to your local computer as well. So it means that it just saves your recording to your computer and you don't have to purchase that. So if you have the free version, which is up to 100 participants but less than 40 minutes, you can definitely record that and save that to your computer. And you can then share the recording out and about.
So what was the difference between that then having it in the cloud? What did she mean by that?
It just means that you're not taking up space on your computer and you can store it using Zoom hosting. It also means that you can share it online. So you don't have to, so if you share it, if you download it to your computer, you then have to upload it to YouTube or to your website to share the link. If you purchase Zoom cloud video hosting, you can share the link and directly to your customer without having to edit it and upload it to YouTube. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. That was clear.
No worries. All right, so we're going to move on to how to set up. I'm going to clear these. Oh,
sorry,
yes.
Lisa, I think Claire just had a question.
Oh, yes, go Claire. Let me unmute you. There we go.
Yes, I have a question about the background, putting in the background. So if I wanted to put my logo, I couldn't see, I had none on my screen.
Yep, so all you need to do when you get there is there is a button, there is a plus sign that says add image.
Yes.
So if you click that, you can upload your logo there.
Right, yeah, well that's literally what I tried to do. I tried to do this picture, but it just didn't work. So it'll be just a trial and error so you can get that one that works. Is that how it works?
It could just be the bandwidth or internet at the moment. It's just loading it too slowly maybe, or maybe it was too large. So try another one. And it's good to have a background around your image. So like a dark color and then your logo on it, or a white color and your logo. Not just like a transparent logo, because then it wouldn't work. You would need to have it as saved as a JPEG file.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you very much.
No worries. Any other questions there? Valerie, did you have a question?
Oh, no, I've just worked out how to come on with my video.
Oh, awesome. Great. Well, welcome. Okay, I'm
on my iPad, so it'll be a minute. I'll work it out.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. All right, so let's go into how to set up a Zoom account. Actually, I'll go back. So I'm just going to go into a new incognito window. So to sign up to Zoom, all you need to do is to log into zoom.us, or sorry, go to zoom.us in your browser bar and then click on sign up, it's free. It will then ask for all the normal things, so your email and your business or whatever it asks you. So just fill in all those things and then it will sign you in, and that's all completely free. Then once you've signed up, you'll get an email saying, yes, you've been registered and you can use Zoom now, which means that you can then go in and start creating meetings. Now to do that, to create a meeting, all you need to do is sign back into your Zoom, and this is all still free. And then you can sign into your account. So it will ask for your email and your password. So I'm signing into toowoomba.com.au account. Thank you, Nuri and Brendan, for letting me use your toowoomba.com.au. If you guys don't know about toowoomba.com.au, it's an amazing directory and Facebook group in Toowoomba, helping businesses and people connect in the region. So make sure you jump on and follow them, join their groups, and get involved there if you're in the Toowoomba region. So this is what you land on in your dashboard, and this is all still free as well. In the free version, you'll still see all of these things. So on the left hand side, you can see your profile area, which you can change your settings there. Then you can see where all your meetings are stored. So here you can see the meeting, and I love how people are annotating. Thank you. Give me some more love hearts everywhere. I can remove those. So this is where you can see the meeting that I created today. The webinar is not relevant. That's only if you've got the webinar upgrade, which is I think $60 or $70. And it includes a lot of other features that we're not looking at today. The recordings is where your recordings are stored online. So you can see them recorded there or stored there. And then the settings is the area that I want to show you. So this is really important to go in and check all of your settings. This is all the default settings for your meetings when you sign up. So you want to go through and make sure these settings are chosen. So when you first land here, you can see you can have your host video on and your participant video on. So I've chosen to have both of those on for this meeting. You can have people sign in via telephone and computer. You can have participants join before the host. And you can go through and change all these things. One of the other things is you can require people to have a password for meetings. So toowoomba.com.au have chosen for people to have passwords, but in my meetings, which I'm going to show you later, I turned that off so you guys didn't have to have a password to sign on. Further down, there's other things that you need to consider, such as muting participants when they arrive. So I had that on just so it made it easier for sound quality. I didn't have to go through and mute you all when you were all signing in. Another thing you really want to turn on is the chat, so the ability for everyone to be able to chat, and also if you're happy for participants to chat privately with each other, which we had on today, which means you can send private messages to people in the chat group. You can also save those chats if you want to as well. Another great thing about the chat area is that you can share files, which I've turned on, so you can share PDF files. So say, for example, I had a workbook for this Zoom recording, then I could upload that and you guys could then download it from the chat room. So that's really great if you're doing workshops or training sessions. Further down, you can see that you have the ability to do polling. So I could create a poll asking you guys what your favorite food is or what you're doing to keep yourself entertained, and I can pop that in, just making the session more interactive. Then further down, there is the ability to share screen, which is really important. I think if you're going to be running training sessions, you want to be able to share PowerPoints and things like that. You can also choose whether or not it's just host only or participants only in there. That's great. I love the love heart. And then it's really a matter of just going through and choosing the ones that you love. So annotation, which you guys are doing beautifully, I can turn that on and off so I can allow participants to annotate and also use the whiteboard, which I think is really valuable if you're doing training sessions. Then the main one I really wanted to point out was this breakout room, making sure you have that turned on if you're having a lot of participants and you're wanting to break them out. So, and then also the virtual backgrounds in there as well. So make sure you go through all of those. There's lots and lots. So it's important that you go through and make sure they're all set to what you want to have in there. The next thing I want to show you is, and then there's all the admin, so account setup and advanced. So the next thing I want to show you is actually how to create a meeting. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to clear the annotations, even though they're all so beautiful. They might be a bit distracting for you all. So let's clear those and I'll teach you how to set up your first meeting. So let's pretend that I am running yoga classes, and they're going to be reoccurring events on Monday nights from 7 to 8:30. So there's a few ways you can schedule a meeting. You can either schedule it from up here or you can schedule it from here. So I'm just going to click schedule a new meeting. Then it's going to bring up the area where you can enter all your details. So you want to add a topic. Oops, I'm just going to write weekly yoga. Then you can enter a description here. Now we choose what date. So I'm going to make it for this Saturday, and it's going to be a 7:30 p.m. session, and they're going to go for an hour. Now this is where you have to consider your pricing structure. So if I was going to have more than 2 people join my yoga class and they're going to go for more than 40 minutes, I would have to pay for the $21 a month. If I'm only doing consultations, so say I'm a digital marketer, which I am, and I'm just doing training sessions one-on-one, then I can just do up to the 1 hour, which is the 40 minutes cutoff. It will cut off, but I don't have to pay for that. Now, because I am in a paid version, thanks to toowoomba.com.au, in the free version, if I say 1 hour, which it gives you the 1 hour limit there, it will pop up with something that says you only have 40 minutes and it will cut off after 40 minutes. So it gives you a warning, and it will say something like, make sure you upgrade if you want more time. So that's what you'll have to do if you're wanting to run larger classes for a longer period of time. The next thing I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to run these reoccurring meetings. So I'm going to have these yoga classes run for 5 weeks. So this is a really great thing you can set up in Zoom. So I'm going to run these weekly, and they're going to repeat every week, and they're going to occur on Saturday, and I'm going to do it for 5 sessions. So I can do it after 5 occurrences. So that's a really great nifty tool in Zoom. Obviously, if you're just having the one-on-one and it's just once off, you don't need to have that reoccurring meeting. Now, further down, there are some options here. You can have required password, or people need to register before they enter. Now, the reason you would have a password is that you're wanting just to be a bit more secure. You're only wanting to limit it to a certain group. So tonight, it didn't really matter if there were extra people. So if you guys shared the Zoom link with someone else, they could sign in and use it, and that's not really a problem for this sort of a meeting. But if it was a private meeting, you're talking something confidential, then you might want to consider using a password. Also, you need to consider, is your client going to share it with someone? Probably not if it's a one-on-one session, so you probably wouldn't need to have that on there. So toowoomba.com.au had it set in the default settings as password required, but I'm able to turn that off, and I did for this meeting that we're in, so that you guys could all join without having to need a password. The next thing down is you can have your video on and off for participants. So if I'd chosen off, you guys would have all just signed in with audio only. So I just have a question here. Without a password, there is a risk that someone random could drop into your meeting as easily as dialing the wrong number. Yes, so good point, Joy. So if you are concerned about people dropping in, then a password is definitely a good idea. But if it doesn't really matter, like tonight, I'm happy for people to just drop in if they happen to come across the meeting ID, then that's fine. Now, people can also sign in via computer or telephone, and you can edit what countries that they can sign in from. So tonight, I just made it for Australia only, and you can save that. So in the invitation that I'm going to show you in a minute, people will also have the ability to phone in with their phone. The next section down here is how you want people to join the meeting. So tonight, I enabled people to join the meeting before host. So before I rocked up at 6:50, some other people were already in there who'd signed in at 6:45, and they were happily chatting to each other in the meeting, and I was fine for that to happen. If you don't want people to get in there before you, so say for example, you are wanting to set up your slides, you have some guest speakers, so you wanted to talk to them before everyone joined in, then you can enable the waiting room. And that just means people go into a waiting room before. They just have a screen that says the host is put you in a waiting room, and they'll let you in soon. And then when you're happy to let them in, you just let them in with a one-click button and it lets people in. So that's a really nice way if you're wanting to be a bit more professional and you're wanting to start on time and you're wanting to have guests, like you're wanting to prepare slides with your guest speakers. That's really a good idea. But for me, I was happy for you guys to chat, and you guys were all having a great chat. The other option is to mute participants on entry, which I did. And that's just because if you've got lots of participants joining in, it's a good idea to have them muted. And they can unmute anyway when they get in there. It just means that I don't have to go and unmute everyone. The other thing is you can record your meeting automatically. So that's, if you're forgetful like me, that's generally a good idea, so that if you are wanting to record your session, it will start recording as soon as you log in, so you don't have to remember to do it. If you know that at the beginning you're going to have a lot of chatting and you don't really want to record that, then you can leave the recording to a bit later and choose that a bit later. Now, authenticated users, I believe, is just you have to be authenticated via Zoom. I've never used that, so I'm not really sure what that means. Someone else might know. And then you can also invite alternate hosts in there as well. Then all you need to do is save that meeting. Zoom will then do all their goodness. And then there's a few options here to share your invitation. So you can copy this invitation. So when I click copy invitation, I can copy this meeting invitation and I can share this to people via email. I could share it to people via Facebook Messenger. There's multiple ways you could share that. You could just send it to people with a text message. The other way is you can invite people on using Google Calendar as well, which is pretty cool. So it means it gets added directly into their calendar. So for my training sessions with one-on-one people, I can send them the Google invite via their calendar, and they will get a notification and be able to click through immediately with that. So that's the basics of setting up a meeting. Does anyone have any questions regarding that? Tanya, let me unmute you. Go for it.
Yes, just wanted to ask, when you record something, you can come back and keep using that recording over and over if you wish, as many times as you like?
Absolutely. So it will just save to your computer or the cloud, right, wherever you save it, and you can use it over and over and over again, as long as you don't delete it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. You can also edit it. So if you have a video editing tool, like for myself, I use Adobe, so I can go in and edit all the ums that I say, or
Yes.
Or if people, like last week, Paul had some fun times last week, so I edited some of that out.
Okay, right.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
No worries. Any other questions regarding setting up the meeting in Zoom? Joy's written, authenticated users could be based on an email. For example, your company would be allowed to join, but anyone with a different email would not. Good point, Joy. So Joy's joined tonight. Joy's from Canvas Co-working, and Joy's an amazing Zoom expert. And Joy and I are actually running training sessions, so one-on-one training for people with Zoom. And we also will be able to host Zoom meetings as well for people if that's something you're interested with. On the $21 option, you get 1 gigabyte of cloud storage, says Joy. So that's good to know. So 1 gigabyte of cloud storage is quite a lot of videos. I mean, generally a video, depends how long the video is, maybe is 10 megabytes to 100 megabytes. So that, you know, about 3 hours of video. There you go. Any other questions? Feel free to put your hand up. Tanya, did you not have another question?
Yeah, I do. Sorry.
Yeah. No, go.
So once someone has joined once and you've given them a password, is it just a matter of them just going in at that same time and just rejoining with just that one password? They don't have to be invited all the time?
Exactly. So if you have a reoccurring meeting, they can use that same ID, which is the link, so that they'll get the invitation with the password that they use.
So is it the password they put in or is it the ID number?
So it's both. So you will get the invitation link, which is what you guys clicked on tonight, and
Yep.
they will have the password that they need to enter.
Okay, all right. Tough.
No worries. Joy saying personal meeting room option is the same link every time. A scheduled meeting will have a unique password and link each time. So they would get sent that out, a scheduled meeting. All right, so moving on, we're going to be looking at equipment, and we have the lovely Paul here from Entire Computer Services who's going to be talking about equipment and preparation for your meeting. So I will let you take that over now, Paul.
Okay, well, thank you, Lisa, for inviting me to give this presentation on common video audio equipment and testing and preparation. My contact details, I've just put them in the link there. I've got a basic Google listing there, a Google My Business page there, which you can get further detail if you need to contact me. From Entire Computer Services, we specialise in technology support for individuals, homes and small business. There's plenty of people out there that miss out on Zoom video conferencing because they think it's just too complicated, or they don't know where to start, or whatever it is, or and quite often people don't set up their equipment properly and don't test it. You're going to hear me talking a bit about testing and preparation, very important part of this process. If anyone out there that needs help with configuring, I can help configure and troubleshoot over the phone. Normally I would go to your wherever you are to help, but that's not so easy in the current environment. And through a combination of over the phone support and remote desktop access, which is also very simple with my guidance, I can help you through this. Okay, so let's get on talking about hardware and video equipment, hardware and audio and video hardware. So what you've got, I'm going to talk about different types of microphones, a couple of different types of cameras, and then talk a little bit about how to set up a space well for a successful video conferencing session. Microphones. So first of all, I'm going to cover built-in microphones, and that being on laptops first. Now, see in the on the shared screen there that Lisa's put up, I've got a couple of arrows pointing to some of the most common microphones that are out there. There's my particular one here has two yellow arrows pointing to where there's actually two microphones. It doesn't matter. The only reason there's two is maybe to give a stereo effect, but that's not all that important. Now, I should stress, you don't need to purchase expensive stuff to do basic video conferencing. Pretty much, if you've got a mobile phone, you've probably got everything to do basic video conferencing right there and then. Moving on from that, we've got the mobile phones. Now, mobile phones be aware they have two microphones on them. You'll see in the first picture beside the computer there, the yellow one, there's a microphone on the bottom of a phone, and there's also a microphone on the top. The bottom one is when you're using it an earpiece up to your head, so it doesn't get feedback from the speaker from the earpiece to the microphone. They separate the two. And then when you go to speakerphone, always be aware that your microphone will either be on the back, like that second picture, or on the top of the phone, the opposite end. So when you go to speakerphone, don't keep talking into the bottom of the phone where your mic might be. Find out where your alternative mic is and talk into that. Unless you're using a camera, in which case you got to obviously face it. Okay, so moving on, we've then got desktop mics. Now the one in the bottom left picture there is it's on quite a tall, heavy stand there. That's just one example of the desktop mic. You can get a small stand for that, which you can just go on a bench. Those ones can plug into, usually you would use a microphone like that for a largest room so groups of people can talk, and they would usually use with a PC, like some of us, I think most of us here are using PCs because they have a USB port that plugs in, and as long as it's configured right, they work very well. The next microphone is a lapel mic. Plenty of you have probably seen reporters and people in the media that use lapel mics, so they just clip it onto their lapel or collar or whatever it is and plug it in. Got to be careful. The plug on the end of those, there's different types of plugs, and that particular one you can see there is designed to be used with a mobile phone because it has different setup. That's can be a little bit of a trap, that one, and be a case of talk to your supplier about them or talk to someone who's in the know. Talk to me if you want. I can help you out with that. Okay, so moving forward now, the headset. We're going to move on to this. The headset that I've got on now, the one you can see I'm using, is also the same one in that picture. That is a wireless one using Bluetooth as its particular wireless feature. Very handy because I can move around, I can do whatever I want without having to worry about getting tangled up. There's not a lot of people use wireless ones, and it just gives you that added bit of freedom. It has a microphone. The yellow arrow is pointing to where the microphone is. It's called a boom mic. And it's very good at isolating the sound that comes from speakers because they're in the actual, their headphones. It's headphones with a microphone, and that's called a headset. I should stress, if you're going to buy a headset, make sure it is a headset, and don't buy, especially if it's wireless or Bluetooth, don't buy a Bluetooth headphones because they're not going to have the benefit of the mic unless it says built-in mic included. Be careful with that. These are very good. The particular ones I've got on are rather expensive, but because I use them a fair bit, that's why I've got an expensive one. I could use something, which is what the next one I'm going to talk about, something as cheap as this. Now this is, there's not even any padding on this. This is no special headset. It's got a couple little sockets. That's more so for a computer. But you can get them for like Officeworks for like $10 or $15, and that'll give you reasonably good audio, video. But once again, got to watch the sockets on those because you'll see in the picture I've got there, they've got those two sockets on the end, and some computers don't have facilities for both. Some have a single socket, which is called a combo. This one has your headphones and your microphone are split into two parts, and they plug in the two sockets on the older, usually used for older laptops. Bluetooth
Paul, Kerry was just asking, is that headset for phone and desktop?
The one that I've got on?
I believe so.
Yes, the one that's why I love using Bluetooth, because I can go use this on my phone just as easy as I can on the computer. That's one of the reasons I like using Bluetooth. It's just easier to use. You don't have to worry about the right socket types and poles, and there's all sorts of technical bits and pieces to do with them. Those other ones are cheap, but they come with a little bit more complex, and you got to make sure you get the right setup for yourself. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. If you had any questions, ask in the chat and Lisa will bring it to my attention. Next one. It's the same picture I had earlier, but you'll see, I'm moving on to cameras now. Yeah, so moving on to cameras. The red arrow in the bottom left picture is cameras. Most laptops now have a camera built in. No need to go and buy an expensive camera or need proper studio equipment. It's just, a lot of people think, I won't do video conferencing. It's just too expensive and too difficult for me. You've pretty much, most people have already got that equipment. As I've just pointed out, in a laptop, you got a perfectly good camera. I'm using mine right now and not a problem.
Paul, what sort of price range are we talking for the Bluetooth headset that you've got on?
The Bluetooth headset I got is a Plantronics brand. Joy has a Plantronics headset as well. My set is about a $200 headset. They can range right up to professional ones for $1,000. not necessary. This is gives perfectly, as you can hear from what you hear from me now, audio is fine on this. And there's people are using other $20 headsets, wired ones, for which will do the job just as well. Plantronics is a very good brand, $200. Joy, show us your headset if you've got one handy. If you've got your Plantronics ones there. Anyway, we'll come back to her if she can show us what she's got. She's got a very similar one, except hers. Mine go over the top.
Sorry, I did, Paul. So,
oh, you did?
Yeah. So
okay.
This is one that's used for running, but it's got a microphone in it as well. So it hooks on, so it's particularly good if you're doing something where you might be moving around a bit. And it's Plantronics. It's about $170 at JB Hi-Fi.
Yeah. See, the problems with one I've got on, you'll see there's a band goes over the top. It's metal. You jiggle and jump around, and that will easily fall off. And you don't want one to be, you probably wouldn't be doing video conferencing when you're jumping around unless you're doing a exercise session. But these ones could potentially fall off if you moved around a lot. The ones Joy had, they hook onto your ears. They're pretty good. But
and what sort of distance, Paul? What sort of distance away from your phone or desktop? What sort of range? Is it now, like a 10-meter range or something?
Yeah. Well, the ones that I've got on, and that's where your price comes in. The more you pay for them, usually the more distance you get. I can go from one end of the house to the other end and still get perfectly good signal on that. You buy a cheap generic branded one on eBay. Not that I suggest going to eBay too much at the moment, especially if you're Chinese, because it takes ages for stuff to get here. You might only get 5 or 10 meters. When you're doing video conferencing, you're usually not more than 5 or 10 meters away. I could go for a walk right now, the other end of the house, and continue talking to you, but I want you to see my face. So a minimum of 5 meters and maximum, I'd say 20, 25 meters for a really good set, like the one Joy's or mine has. It depends on the receiver too. I've got a special receiver that connects to mine. Okay. Any more questions about headsets? All right, moving on. Go back to cameras. Like I said, don't need expensive cameras. You've got one built into your laptop. You've got cameras built into your phones. You'll see in the bottom right-hand picture there, there's cameras on the back and front of your phones. Chances are most of the people here, if not everyone, has a mobile phone with cameras built in. They are really good cameras sometimes if you've got the right environment. Plenty of people get poor quality video because of lack of lighting. Lighting's a big one. Backlighting, all sorts of things. I'll cover more about lighting in the preparation. Some phones, there's a limited number of phones, actually have a flash on the back of the phone, and there is some small number of phones, in particular mine or ones like mine, they actually have a flash built into the front of the phone, so you can light up your own face. Apple has a good feature with some applications where the screen lights up your face just by having a white screen there.
We have a question here, Paul.
Yeah.
For a webcam for filming such things as yoga classes, would you recommend a 180 for resolution or a 720 for a resolution for webcam?
Okay, resolution, to tell you the truth, resolution is not your biggest concern. The higher you go, the better it's gonna, the better the quality is gonna be, but the focus needs to be on preparing your space, lighting. It can make such a big difference. Right now, you see my face. I've just got just a normal desk lamp in front of me in my face, but if I turn that off, the quality of this image is affected pretty bad, and I've got normal room lighting. So the focus, it doesn't matter, 720 is going to be cheaper than a 1080p camera, but if you want better quality resolution, yes, go 1080p or even higher. I'm not even sure, I don't even know what the resolution of the camera is that I'm using on my laptop here, but it's doing the job just fine. I think it could even be less than 1080p, might be 720. Don't focus on resolution, focus on quality and preparation. Okay, next slide there, please, Lisa. Okay, here's another camera. The cameras which you're probably, whoever was asking before, was it Kelly? Yeah, Kelly. These are, if you don't have a good enough camera or your camera doesn't work on your laptop, you can buy, or your desktop, you can buy a camera like the one in the top left there. Then that camera is just a Logitech, which is reasonably upmarket. And the next question you're going to ask is, how much are those? The answer to that is they can range anything from your generic branded ones on eBay, as little as $20, $30 on eBay, and they can, it's open-ended. That one you see there, that Logitech one, I think that might be about $150, $170 camera. You'll see in, no, I haven't got another one in there, but that is a very good quality camera, and it will give a better image, and it handles low lights. Different cameras handle low lights better than others. You'll notice I've got yellow arrows and red arrows. The red arrow, that just clips onto the top of the screen that you're using. Got a very well designed clip. Microsoft makes some good ones. Logitech, plenty of others out there. The yellow arrows point to microphones. Now this is a combo device. This has microphones and camera all in one. So you wouldn't even have to have a headset on. But be aware, if you have speakers, like I've shown you in the second picture at the top right, the laptop there with the speakers, I've just got the arrows pointing the speakers in my laptop that point downwards, which will be away from the microphone, whether you use a built-in microphone in your laptop. Thanks for pointing that out, Lisa, that's great. If you've got built-in mic, or you have the camera sitting on top with those microphones, like in the top left picture there, your speakers need to be facing away or at a distance, otherwise you get that screeching or echoing sound back, and we all hate that. And you'll see, bottom left, that's one example of external speakers. They've been around for decades. They can connect in various different ways, and I must stress, keep your speakers away from your microphone, point them in the opposite direction. They connect by those connections in the bottom right. You've got 3.5mm audio, the left of those two pictures on down the bottom, and then to the right, you've got USB. There can be one, either, or some speakers use both, but they more so use a USB connection for simply getting power to run the speakers. And then the 3.5mm audio connection, which a lot of us would call a headphone plug, is simply used for the signal. Okay. There's no questions? No, good. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for people. Got any questions? Stick it in the chat there. All right, moving on to preparation. I can't stress how preparation testing is. How often have people gone to a big presentation, lots of people there, and the presenter walks in at the last moment, or the tech person's still mucking around with equipment, and they're not prepared, they haven't tested, and they think they just click on work and it just works. Often that's not the case. And if testing had been done in advance, that reduces the potential for these things to happen. I'm going to go through a list of things. Feel free to make notes. I've got a list of things like a checklist. I could probably put it in the chat later, of things that you should, just a checklist of things you should check before you start a video conferencing. Different video conferencing needs have different things included in this, but this is a fairly comprehensive, in my opinion, but not in its totality, everything. Now, test. When you test your conferencing, test the configuration, and that is, do you want to have dual screen? Dual screen gives you a benefit of having the video conference running on one screen and information stuff on a second screen. It can make life easier. Right now, I'm running on a single screen, and I've got half my screens taken up by Zoom, and the other half is a bit of information about my prompt sheet. So I've got a little bit of a squashy area to work in here. Audio. Got to make sure you configure audio right first, and don't think you just plug it in and it's going to work. I've said it once and I'll repeat it again. Camera, test it. Test whether it be mobile or on your computer. Test it in advance. If you geez, contact me and say, hey, can I try out Zoom with you just to test and make sure it works? Not a problem. It's pretty quick and easy for me to do it. I can do it mobile or laptop. With mobile, usually we connect to the internet at home, and that usually can be a consistent connection, but in the current environment, things are getting a bit upset with the NBN. Moving on to internet connections. Some people will find mobile is far superior to home internet connections. Well, that is correct. Sometimes it can be. Mobile phones can get as much as hundreds of gigabits, megabits per second, and some home connections can get as little as 12 megabits a second. You don't necessarily need super fast to do this. I'm running on 12 megabits per second at my home at the moment, and it works just fine for me. In fact, you can hardly even buy 12 megasecond anymore. I've had it for years. Don't think you need the best and fastest to make things work. Checking. Okay, there's a question there. If there's any type of device out there that can boost your internet connection bandwidth via 4G connection, is there? You have no access to broadband to do the and do not have a satellite dish. My only way to connect to the internet is via my mobile phone. Yes, if you've got no other way, well, sorry, bad luck. That's the way it is, and you just have to hope that everyone's not arriving home from work or jumping on their lunch break using that tower that you're connecting to, and you just roll the dice. You got more chance of getting a more consistent connection under normal circumstances at home. So you can actually have your modem set up. So if your internet drops out, and I'm sure people have experiencing that, if your internet drops out, depending on the modem you got, you can have it so it automatically has a fallback feature where it falls back to a 3G service, a special little device that plugs into your mobile. As long as that's configured correctly, you can have a reasonably seamless connection to the internet. If you want to know how to do that, give me a call sometime. I'm happy to talk to you. Can you buy an external antenna for? So I'm working on a small area here. There's a few. Can you buy an external antenna for your mobile? No. Years ago, you used to be able to have plugs in the back of your phones where you could plug external antennas in when people were trying to get their 2G. But these days, they've eliminated the sockets on phones. As a general rule of thumb, you can't. There might be a very small number of phones out there you can, but all the ones I've seen don't. Boy, the questions are coming. I just had a booster system added to my system at home. Vicky, you're talking about Vicky, yeah. I am the same as you. I can only get the internet access via mobile phone. Well, that's not mobile phone, that's mobile broadband. Don't mistake it. You can do what's called mobile hotspot on your phone, or you can have mobile broadband, and that mobile broadband can plug into your router, your modem, whatever you call it, you got at home. Boy, I could talk all day about these things. Better keep moving. I researched mobile repeaters this week from Forbes Batteries in Toowoomba. I'm in Highfields and have no mobile service here, about 800 to 1,000. Yes, now that is an expensive way to go. I've had a couple of people that I've dealt with for that, and these are an awesome solution. If you do want to know more about this, that's one area that I can help you out. Once again, give me a call if you have any questions. Yeah, it can get really expensive because they're a great facility, because what it does, it basically grabs the signal from outside your house and then it boosts it inside the house. So if you've got a signal outside, you can have just a good, if not better, signal inside the house. And when I say outside, I mean like on your roof, not just outside, because you can have an antenna on the roof picking up the signal. They're awesome. Have you alerted Telstra Optus? no, it's not necessary. From what I understand, it's not absolutely necessary to alert either of them. And by the way, Telstra and Optus are not the be-all and end-all when it comes to service providers. There's plenty of others out there. Okay, good to know. Haven't met with them yet, but it's on their list with the NBN out here. Highfields is an anomaly. There's very serious limitations on NBN, mobile, all sorts of things out there. I'm gonna keep moving. Because I'm running out of time here. Lisa, are you going to chase me off in a second? All right, I'll keep
you're
talking.
Fine. You finish up there.
All right, sorry. There's just a lot of chatter going here.
That's all right.
I love
we can chat. We can chat after it's finished.
True.
People
true.
can ask you stuff. Yeah.
This is my life. I live, eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff. This is what I love. That's why I can talk all day about it. Moving on, back to checking. Okay, if you're going to do video conferencing, whether it be one person or a group of people, it doesn't harm to check the following items. Check your appearance. You don't want to have a goobie hanging out your nose, have your makeup all smudged or your hair missing or your wig's half falling off. Check your appearance. It's not hard. Look in the mirror. Make sure you look okay. If you're wearing a headset with a band over the top, be aware for those who are very sensitive about their hair, it can affect your hair. Look at my beautiful hairdo, all destroyed by this. Okay. You're going to giggle in the background there. Okay. Check the area and the room you're doing it in. If you're going to be doing it in a room without much furniture or wall coverings or anything like that, consider that you might get a bit of echo. Some good headsets like this one can eliminate that. But with your cheaper ones, you just got to, would you believe the best place is a walk-in wardrobe for echo because you've got clothes everywhere. But that's a little bit awkward, especially if you're going to have a camera in there with you. Okay, so be aware of echo. And if you want to reduce that echo, put things in the room, soft things like furnishings, couches, pictures on walls, blankets. You don't put blankets on walls, but just stuff will absorb it and reduce that echo. Or choose a room which doesn't have echo. Lighting. I've already talked about lighting. I've shown you some of this. The brighter the light, basically, to get a good light can make the difference between a good and bad quality video experience. What I've got in front of me here is barely good enough. As I get closer, you'll see my face is brightening up. This is one of those yellowish type lights. You'll see I've got a yellow tinge. There's plenty of good lights out there. You can even get special ones called a ring light, which gets very bright. And they can, the brightness can almost be to a point where it affects your ability to see properly on the screen, but that really gives a good image for people to see. If it's uncomfortable, chances are it's a good light. That's my opinion. I should point out all these things are my opinions, my experience. Different people have different opinions. I talk about lighting a lot. Be aware, background lighting. Right now, I've got pretty much that's a white, it's a special screen. But today I was in a Zoom meeting, and right behind me, that's a massive sliding door which faces outside of the building, which created lots of light behind me. So what did the camera do? It compensated and made my face really dark. So consider your backlighting, where you're going to sit. If you're going to sit anywhere, sit facing light. Don't sit with light behind you. That's a pretty easy thing to do, assuming your desks, benches, wherever you're working can facilitate that. Sometimes it's not, and today I didn't particularly care. It was too difficult for me to move elsewhere, and it didn't matter that much. Okay, wind. Sometimes if you're using a microphone, wind can be a problem. Sure, you might start a video conference and you've left all the doors open. It's a hot day, not that it's hot at the moment. And then the next thing, a big gust of wind picks up. Before you know it, you've got papers blowing everywhere. You've got a big gust of wind, and that wind can affect microphones easily. be aware that wind can affect it. If you can close doors and have, or if you have a fan going, don't point. Make sure you point it away from your microphone, down on your body, rather than at your head where your microphone is, or away from your laptop if you're going to be using a microphone on it. They're very sensitive to wind. That's one example. Okay, I'll keep moving. We can talk more in a moment.
We just had a comment from Vicky who says looking at doing outside videography, videos. So having one of those microphones with the little fluffy thing, that helps, doesn't it, Paul?
Fluffy thing, yeah, they call it I think they call it a diffuser. The bigger and fluffier those things are, you can get them from your local electronic shop like J-Cars, places like that, I think. And like even this microphone I've got here, you'll see it's just a solid. Can everyone hear me okay? I think I might have muted. No, I can hear. Okay, good. I can put a fluffy thing over the end of that, and that would reduce the noise that wind makes. That's what they're for. You'll see some reporters, when they're in natural disaster situations, they'll have 25 centimetre wide fluffy things in their microphones. Not because they look good, because they need that function to reduce the wind, because it's usually windy. But a good quality microphone can also diagnose the sound it hears, and it's called noise cancelling, and they can actually eliminate those noises. Moving on to other things around you, interruptions. Warn people around you. That's what I wanted to mention before. Warn people around you that you're going into a chat session, into a video conference, and if they do want you to give some sort of visual feedback that they want to talk to you, so you can either wave to them to go away, or at least they know what's going to happen. So warn people that's all in the good preparation. And if you're going to be doing a visual presentation like Lisa's doing here, not that I can profess I really prepared myself well for this, because Lisa typed it all in on the spot. Just run through your presentation, see what it looks like online, and see what it's going to look like to other people, and look at your timings if you're going to talk about something for a while. Those are presentations, PDFs, PowerPoint, whatever works. Share a screen. There's many different methods. And lastly, I wanted to cover, when it comes to preparation, phone calls. Turn your mobile phones or home phones, whatever it is, to mute if you don't want interruptions, if it's important that they don't interrupt. So many people will you'll get on a chat with lots of people there, then the phone rings in the background. Sometimes you need to do that, so be it. Sometimes it's worth warning people, sorry, my mobile may ring, or whatever it is. And that goes for apps as well, whether it be Messenger or whatever it is. We get plenty of interrupting sounds out there. That is my little list of things that you should, some obvious things that you should check. It doesn't cost you a lot of money to check these things, but it can certainly save you a bit of heartache. Any questions? I'm happy. Give me a call sometime. I'm on Facebook. Further up on the list, I posted my Google page. I'm on Facebook. Give me a call if you have any questions. Happy to talk.
Maybe just put that back in the chat again, your link there, Paul.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I got it. Oh, no.
Thanks very much, Paul. So I'm going to move on now to promotion and setting up tickets. So when you set up a Zoom, it's actually quite easy to set up and schedule your Zoom meeting, but the hard part is now getting it out and getting people to know about it and getting people to sign up. So the first thing you need to consider is if you're wanting people to pay you money for the service or for the workshop that you're going to be running. So there are a few options. If you're running a one-on-one training session or a consult, you could just send an invoice out prior to the event or after the event, depending on how trustworthy you are, to get paid that way. So you could just use your normal accounting software to send out those invoices. You could also use this method if you're running smaller workshops. However, if you're looking at getting over 20 people to attend, I wouldn't recommend setting up doing invoicing for those things, I would set up a ticketing system, whether that be a ticket on your own website. So if you have your own website hosted on platforms like Wix or Square or Weebly or Shopify or WordPress, all of those websites have the capacity to add products which you could utilize as a ticket for your event. So people can then sign up for the event, purchase that ticket, and then after they purchase the ticket, you send out the email with the link to the Zoom meeting. There are other options such as Eventbrite. If you don't have your own website, you could utilize a tool like Eventbrite. And this is the Eventbrite website where you can come and see all the events that are going to be running in the upcoming months and weeks. And Eventbrite is free to set up a ticket, but you do have to pay per each transaction. So they do take out a commission for those. But again, once they have purchased the ticket, then you can send them an email with the link to join the Zoom meeting. Another way to do it is using a tool like MailChimp. So for example, tonight for this event, it was a free event, so I didn't need you to purchase a ticket or pay me via any way. So I set up a MailChimp form, which I then added to my Facebook link. And then you guys were able to click through and enter your emails, your name and your last name, and then sign up for that. Once you signed up, then you got emailed the link to join the Zoom meeting. So that's another way. MailChimp at its core is free as well to use. So you could do it that way if you are running free events. This way is also a great way to start collecting some email addresses if you're looking at growing your email list. So after you've decided how to set up your payment, whether it be invoicing or having a ticket on your website, the next thing you want to do is you want to start promoting your event or services. So some ways to start promoting your event is you can set up events on Facebook with Facebook events from your business page. And you can start inviting people in to that Facebook event. The great thing about Facebook events, like the one that I set up for this event, and some of you might have found this event through people sharing the Facebook event to particular groups, or people might have invited you in. It's just another great tool for people to share the event, invite friends, share it in groups, and people will then be able to come in and join in this event and click through to sign up or to purchase your ticket. Another way is that you can set up a LinkedIn event. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, which I definitely recommend you do in this day and age, is getting your profile up on LinkedIn, you can actually now set up events on LinkedIn. So you can set this up via your own profile. Unfortunately, you can't set it up via company pages yet. But down the left-hand side, you can see all the events that I've set up using LinkedIn. And this is one event I set up for a podcast workshop we did with Ellen. Then I can start to invite attendees in. Another great thing about LinkedIn is that you can search for people in certain regions. So if I was really wanting to target my region, which is Toowoomba, I could search for people just in Toowoomba and invite those people in. Obviously now though that we're online, we can potentially reach Australia, New Zealand, America quite globally. Brendan's just typed in another good event platform is Flucto. If you could share the link in the chat box, that would be great, Brendan, for event tickets. And then, so you have Facebook events, you have LinkedIn events. The other one is Google My Business events. So the Google My Business tool is a free tool put out by Google to have your business online and be found in search results page. It also means that you can add posts into your profile on Google, and you can add events. So the way to add event is just click. You can either click this post and then add an event here, or you can just click add an event. Then you can add a photo, the event title, the date, a time, event details, and then you can add the link through to purchase or sign up, whatever it is there. It's a really great way of getting your event found on the Google search page. and just another way to promote your event out there. Also, all of these are free, so make sure you utilize them as best as you can. The next thing to consider is setting up Facebook groups. So Facebook groups, there are thousands of Facebook groups, and this is a really great way to start engaging with your audience and connecting with your target market. So you don't want to be salesy when you're in a Facebook group. You really want to be bringing value to those members in a Facebook group, and people start to get to know you. They start to get to know what services you offer, what workshops you offer, training, and you get some brand awareness for yourself. Then on certain days in Facebook groups, there are theme days. So say, for example, on Thursday, there might be a My Biz offer theme. So you could add your event or your service onto that group during that day, if they allow that. So Facebook groups are a really great way of getting your brand known and just really bringing value to your target audience. So have a look for groups that are in your target audience and join those groups and start engaging in them. Another really important way to get your services and workshops out and about is to start sending email newsletters out to your clients or your audience. If you haven't created an email newsletter, I definitely recommend this. Ways you can do that is by running free events. So tonight, this was a free event, and from that, I've been able to collect emails that I can now send out. Other workshops I'll be running for you. I can also send out this recording to you later. I can also send out my services and offerings that I have throughout the week and other valuable content so that I can be front of mind when you're thinking about digital marketing or getting your website built. So that's another really great way. And platforms like MailChimp, HubSpot, ActiveCampaign are all ways you can start setting up an email newsletter. Now, one of the most underutilized ways to promote your event is by creating a press release. So a press release is basically writing a one-page article and submitting it to your local newspaper or media outlet, so that when they have a spare spot or it's a trending topic, they may publish it. It's really important with this article not to be salesy. So the content should be, shouldn't be, this week I'm running yoga classes online for $50. You shouldn't just say that. It should have some research around the importance of yoga for mental well-being, the importance of keeping active during this time of isolation, getting some quotes from experts in the industry. And then at the very end of the article, you could add your online yoga class, which will help promote mental well-being during this isolation. So you really need to think about the reader and what would they want to read about. News outlets will only use it if they feel it's valuable information for their readership. So always keep that in the front of mind when you are creating press releases. But these are a free way of getting your events out there. And you also start to become known and become a bit of an influencer in that industry. Another great way to promote your event is to find all your local online directories and websites that share local events, and you can add them to those platforms. They will generally let you add your events for free as long as you're signed up to their website. You can also utilize regional council websites. All of them have websites where you can add event listings on there. Some of the local news outlets also, like What's on Toowoomba is run by Channel 7. You can go and add your events in there as well. If you are wanting to learn more about digital marketing, I do run the business called Eat Digital, where you can sign up and get more help with that. I will add that in the comments below. But that is basically everything for tonight on how to set up Zoom, how to get your events online and start offering services for your audience. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand and I'll unmute you. I also have my other business, which is called Retrohex, where I help people with web design and web hosting. And I'm offering with Joy Taylor, who's here tonight, we're offering Zoom one-on-one training sessions. I hope it's given you some ideas around how to get your services online. Thanks for coming along, everyone.